Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to Sister Wives with Mary Jane Kay. Today, I'll be giving my commentary on Sister Wives, Season 6, Episode 11, Sister Wives Tell All, where the wives and Cody sit down with Tamron Hall for a mid-season interview. The episode opens with Tamron and the Brown adults discussing the move from the 4 separate rentals in Vegas into the cul-de-sac. Cody emphasizes the functionality as a family. And he says the closer they are to each other, the more they function like a family, the more they feel like a family, the more they interact as one. And Janelle feels that there is something about really owning this home and envisioning herself there. She says it gives her a sense of permanence and a sense of community to have the family together again and to know she's going to live there for a very long time. Now, we watch a replay of the Browns' journey getting into these homes. Mary tears up watching herself discuss the struggle of holding back her emotions while she and Leo are the only ones who aren't getting into their home yet while everyone else is. Mary is in tears about disappointing Leo. So Tamron asks Mary if she was upset about Leo. And Mary says, yeah, she was very upset because it was important to Leo. They really wanted to have family Christmas at their home for the whole family. They love Christmas. This was very important to them. So Mary was very disappointed to let Leo down. Mary said that it was awesome finally getting into the house. No one asked Kotex, but he adds that it felt like destiny to be there. It felt like home. It felt very settling for him. Cody's just happy he dodged all that inconvenience of having to drive from house to house living out of a suitcase. Christine is really happy to be together again, and Tamron wants to know about all the bumps in the road, having to readjust to living together again, having to live in a united front. I have to say, I much prefer Tamron Hall to Suki. And Tamron has moved on to bigger, better things, but I would definitely love to see Tamron at the tell-alls instead of Suki. Now, Tamron tells Mary that she mentioned fearing potential issues that could arise with the Brown adults living close together again. Mary adds that it was her realization that now all of the adults, all of the 4 wives and Cody, they would see Cody, they would see where he was living in the cul-de-sac, they would know who he was with, they would know what he was doing at all times, they could clock him, whereas in the 4 separate homes, they didn't have to see it. They didn't have to see Cody flaunting his favoritism in front of their faces. Basically, Mary knows that the wives are going to have to get used to seeing Cody's car parked in Sabin's driveway. They will see all the favoritism up close and personal, and it will hurt more and it will cause more pain and more jealousy and more insecurity for them because it will be even more blatant and in their face. They're going to see this favoritism. They're not just going to feel it, they're going to see it with their eyes, and it's going to make it exponentially worse. In 4 separate homes, you can find ways to distance and you can ignore that pink elephant, but not when you see it and hear it and smell it outside your living room window every day. Now, Mary knows jealousy could get stirred up. There's a potential for that. And Tamron asks if this is confession time. Cody cynically shakes his head and Mary is in the hot seat. Mary tells Tamron she isn't saying that she feels the jealousy, but she says it's a possibility that they would have emotions having to see it. Cody throws out little examples like, oh, you pulled her weeds in her yard, but not mine. Oh, you pulled her trash bin in and not mine. And Cody doesn't understand that it's so much deeper than that. Tamron pushes a little bit. She knows it's deeper. And Cody admits he has been with these ladies for 65 years of combined marriage, as if that's something to pride himself on when he still doesn't know how to be a husband to one woman. But she wants to know if jealousy might rear its ugly head. Robin is so nasty. Now, I'm watching this and I noticed this woman, she picked her eye gunk, she looked at it between her fingers, and then she was flicking her eye gunk in her fingers, in between her fingers, as Tamron was talking to Mary. And I don't think she realized the camera caught it. I watched it like WTF. So gross. Take a bathroom break, girl. Just take a break. Excuse yourself. Now, Christine mentions that she is a tracker. She pays attention. She clocks where Cody is. And she always notices where he is. If she hasn't noticed Cody in a while, then she'll wonder where he is, and she will ping that she hasn't seen him in a while. He hasn't been over her house. He hasn't seen her in a while. And she feels that a lot. She'll notice she hasn't seen Cody in days. She knows he's here somewhere in the cul-de-sac, but not there with her. And then she'll feel that loneliness, that aloneness. She feels that often, knowing that he's somewhere close to her, but not with her. Now, Christine reveals she isn't the only wife who feels that way, wondering where the fuck Cody is. Cody interjects that he thinks there's a dynamic here at play because they not only live together now, but they're also in business together. So their daily life looks so different now. So we take a look back at My Sister Wives Closet, the family liability that drained the family's coffers that was once Robin's dream. And they play the clip of Robin telling Cody he needed to put on his big boy panties. And Cody asks jokingly if he can put them on to be the boss now, so he can be in control. So everyone is laughing at the flashback, and Janelle points out that BBP for big boy panties had become a running joke among the crew on hard days when Kotex is a diva. Cody says he's wearing his big boy panties now. No one wants to know, and it definitely doesn't show it. Now, Tamron asks Cody if he embraces his big boy panties. And Cody is resigned, and he says it just is what it is. Next, there's a flashback of Danny the Builder explaining how Cody is different with each wife. Each marriage is different. And he goes on to add that with Janelle, Cody is serious. He's jovial with Christine. He says with Mary, Cody is accommodating. He doesn't always agree with her. And with Robin, they're the newlyweds. It's the honeymoon phase. They're still acting like newlyweds. And all the wives agree that Danny was spot on in his assessment. And Cody says because Danny's a salesman, he can read these women well. Cody laughed at the builder, referring to him as being accommodating with Mary. Mary wasn't so fond of that. Mary says with Cody, she always wants to be honest and loving. So Tamron asks Mary if Cody is accommodating. And Mary says she doesn't like that Cody might feel like he has to be accommodating for her. She doesn't want him to feel like he just has to do everything she says, like he just has to agree with her. Now, Christine adds that she thinks they would have all preferred to be seen as the newlyweds, like Danny described Cody with Robin as if they're on their honeymoon. So already the wives have noticed Cody is mostly at Robin's house. He isn't around their homes, and they all know their relationships with Cody are nothing like Cody's relationship with Robin. And Robin gets all the communication and the attention and the investment and the affection they all wish Cody was giving them. But Cody is only willing to give that effort at his favorite wife's house. Next, Tamron asks Cody if each wife fulfills different romantic and intellectual needs for him. And Cody answers that he wouldn't call it needs because he says he could marry any one of his wives and he could have a functional marriage, a monogamous functional marriage with any of them. So Robin cuts Cody off and she punches him on the shoulder playfully and she tells him good answer as if she's a little kid and she's praising him, about to give him a gold star on his sticker chart. She interrupts him, vocalizing that what Cody did was awesome as she and Cody stare lovingly into each other's eyes. She's pulling that best customer service right in front of everyone's eyes. Never mind Cody's other wife, now ex-wife Janelle, is sitting to Cody's right. Cody is sitting in between Janelle and Robin, but it's just like Cody and Robin are the only people in the room. Now, Robin goes on to say again that it's awesome, it's perfect, that Cody's answer was perfect, right in front of everyone. Cody, the hero, the perfect man. Cody says, the thing is, the monogamous mindset, the dogma of monogamy, to try and put their square peg in that round hole, it's just impossible. Tanya asks Cody if a monogamous relationship would fulfill him. And Cody says it could fulfill him. And obviously we know that is what Cody has always wanted. Monogamy with the shop lady from hell, free from his family he deemed the obstacles to his goals in life. And Cody has that now, and he is more miserable than ever. Tanya asks Cody why he doesn't pursue monogamy if it could fulfill him. And Cody responds to that with, why not be a polygamist? Cody's offended by the question, and he says that question shows a sense of discrimination. I think Cody always knew he wished he wanted to live monogamously with Robin. He wished he could have that. I think he always wanted that, and I think that question hits too close to home. Now, Tanya asks Mary if Cody meets all of her intellectual and romantic needs. And Mary says she is very happy in her marriage. Really, very happy, but we learned that a decade before all this, Cody had already quit any intimacy with Mary. Janelle says she's very happy with Cody. He meets all of her needs. And Tanya asks Cody how he manages his affections. She says he's a mere mortal, this man with 4 wives. And Tamron says Kotex is a nice guy, but she wants to know how he manages. And Cody says there isn't a favorite wife. There isn't a favorite wife in the family who is given dominion over the other wives. Of course, we know that's not true. Robin, of course, chimes in that it's so true. There's no favorite wife, as Christine, Mary, and Janelle look skeptical as fuck. Cody clarifies that there is no queen bee. If there really was no hierarchy whatsoever, then why did Christine feel like the basement wife? Why is one wife getting all of the time and all of the effort and all of the investment while everyone else gets crumbs from their husband by this point? Now, Tamron wants to know if the sister wives are lacking in friendship or if they are all friends and sisters. And Cody answers for the women. He doesn't think that they're lacking in friendship. And Tanya puts her foot down and she lets it be known she wasn't asking Kotex. She is asking the women this question. Robin chimes in first, and of course she thinks there is work that needs to be done. She says there's work the wives want to do on their relationships as sister wives. And Tanya wants to know if the 4 of them are actually friends. And of course, it's all bullshit, but they all insist that they're friends. Tanya says she believes the women care for each other, but she isn't convinced that they're all actually friends. Tanya wants to know, of the 3 other women, who Mary's bestie is. Mary won't answer that question, but she will say that she's closer to some of the women than others, and we know who she is meaning by that. Of course, she is closer to Robin because Robin was doing all she could to hoover Mary and love bomb her to get Mary's legal marriage status. Now, Christine says she and Mary, they've had deep conversations, and sometimes she'll turn to Mary, sometimes she'll turn to Janelle, sometimes she'll turn to Robin. It depends on the situation, how connected they are, and where they're at emotionally. They go where they will feel safe for that day, for that occasion. Now, of course, we know Christine and Mary never had a very close relationship. They'll get along for the family, but they had deep issues in their relationship, and Christine never felt safe with Mary for good reason, of course, because as we know, Christine felt that there were times when Mary was targeting her children and overdoing the discipline with them, and that caused a serious rift in their relationship earlier on. Mary adds that the sister-wife relationships are just like Cody's relationship with each wife. It's completely different with each wife. Each marriage is completely different. Each relationship is completely different. Each dynamic is completely different. And that's how it is with the sister wives too. Next, Tamron mentions Mary's baby decision, or rather the way Cody made the choice for Mary. They flash back to Mary and Cody's picnic, their final discussion on the IVF, where Cody completely shuts Mary down. In the scene, Mary reveals that she was shocked and sad with Cody's response of a no and shutting it down when she wanted to explore things more. So in this flashback scene, Mary talks to Robin. She's in tears and she isn't sure the answer is to not move forward with this. Tamron points out that Mary told Robin that she and Cody mutually decided together not to have another baby. But watching the discussion with Cody was the one who put his foot down. It wasn't really a mutual decision. Mary doesn't really address it, but she says you can't go into having a baby one-sided. Both people have to want it. Tamron asks how Mary felt when Cody said no, and then he said it over and over and over. Mary says it was hard because she got to the point where she wanted to proceed. She didn't have a definite yes, but she definitely wanted to look into IVF more. So Tamron asks Cody if he jumped the gun when he said no when he heard that Mary was actually leaning towards a yes. Cody saw Mary's indecision, and Cody says he figured this kinda, sorta, maybe. That's not how you jump out of an airplane. And Tamron asks Mary what the vacillation is about on her end. And Mary explains it's hard to open up, it's hard to be that vulnerable again, to go through IVF, to go through the possibility of going through all that and still not having a baby. So Mary knows that she's going to be an empty nester, but she isn't sure if that's what she wants or not. Cody points out that Mary not having a baby, it doesn't have to mean that she's an empty nester because they have a big family, there are lots of little kids, and those kids need mothering and nurturing and love that Mary could give. Now, Cody says they always were hoping that all of the wives would raise all of the kids together. I feel like Cody was always very dismissive of Mary becoming an empty nester and her mental state with that. Had Cody been a monogamist, he would have been going through the same stage in life as Mary, enduring becoming an empty nester as well with Mary. But because Cody has all of these kids and 3 other wives, he isn't an empty nester. He isn't experiencing this with Mary or at all. And him saying, well, Mary can just pitch in and help mother the other kids is dismissive of Mary and her emotions and her mindset. He offers Mary no comfort, no understanding, and no empathy. Mary can definitely pitch in with the younger kids, but that isn't the same thing as birthing a child or adopting a child and raising them as your own, being their mom. Cody seems to be looking for a quick fix solution that will shut Mary up about what she is experiencing just so he doesn't have to deal with it, just so he doesn't have to listen or understand her feelings and where she is at. He's very dismissive and it's gross. There isn't really any concern for Mary whatsoever. Mary being an empty nester is also magnified by the fact that she comes from this plural family, and because she doesn't have kids to raise with the rest of the family, she is kind of isolated and alone. She doesn't share in raising those kids. She doesn't have kids of her own anymore to raise. So Cody could have really stepped up as a husband and tried to understand Mary's feelings, and he really could have tried to build a stronger relationship with Mary. Instead, he wanted a quick fix and he didn't want to hear her bitching. He just wanted things convenient for him, and I think that's very cruel. Next, Tanya asks Mary how she would feel if Cody and Robin have another child, the emotional impact of it on her, especially being an empty nester. Mary says she deals with emotions all the time. She deals with going through this all the time. Any one of her sister wives get pregnant, and she's always happy for them. She's always happy for the family to have another child, but she always wishes it would happen to her. Next, Tamron mentions Robin's past and Robin's story, and she asks the wives if Robin's story concerned any of them. Janelle never had an issue with it, and Cody says when he met Robin, he saw a pure woman, someone he respected completely and ultimately. And they flash back to the abominable purity speech and Robin touching on her bad girl past and the evils of premarital sex. Robin says that it was very important to her to tell her story since she made that mistake, and she wanted to tell her story since most girls in their church hide this. So she wants to tell her story so that others don't have to experience it. And Robin says she dealt with regret and heartache because she gave herself to someone who didn't deserve it. And she sold herself short, and she doesn't want other girls to do that too. Sorry to tell Robin, but she sold herself short again with Kotex. Next, Tamron asks about when they have the sex talk with the older kids in the family. And they talk about it when the kids start asking questions. They can talk to their mom, any of their other moms. They can talk to Cody. And Janelle mentions her daughter mentioning that she can see where choices their peers have made have led them, bad choices, and she doesn't want to make those mistakes herself. And Janelle says every choice you make in life has consequences, whether it's drugs or sexual purity or anything else in life. Now, Tamron asks the Browns about McKelty being boy crazy, and Cody jokes that he has his shotgun loaded. Tanya wonders if boys think anything goes at the Brown house because Cody has 4 wives. Now, Robin mentions that kids will come up to Cody, they'll tell him he's a pimp, and Cody says he usually just walks away because he thinks they're ignorant. The kids have to be 16 to group date, and they can do individual dating at 18. So they flash back to the scene with Christine's anti-polygamy aunt when they're doing the panel discussion, and Christine is frustrated with her aunt because she is publicly against plural marriage. Christine is frustrated that her aunt is against plural marriage while she is on TV trying to show that polygamists are normal, that it can be functional. So Christine grew up with this aunt. She saw her aunt's dysfunctional marriage, and she was very frustrated to see her aunt fighting against her, fighting against polygamy. And I wonder if now Christine and that aunt have a closer relationship now that Christine left. She took her power back and she took her life back. Tamron mentions Robin's concern at being ambushed at the panel. She wants to know why Robin was concerned. So Robin says when people leave the community, when they leave plural marriage, they aren't there to find answers or find a happy medium. They are there to say you're wrong and your family needs to break apart. So Robin thinks that's devastating, and she basically sees any of these people as her enemy, I'm sure, as if they're against her because they had a bad experience with their plural marriage. Cody adds that he feels that these people had a bad experience in a plural marriage, and it feels like they're blaming their bad experience in their marriage on plural marriage itself. Robin says with the kids that have gone through this, that are victims of this, they validate that they had a hard time, that abuse occurred, and Robin is saying that they aren't saying abuse doesn't happen. They're just saying it doesn't happen in their family. And of course, we know that aged like sour milk. Janelle says they are definitely willing to validate victims' negative experiences with plural marriage, but those victims aren't willing to validate the Browns' positive experience. Now, my thinking is these victims have been around the block more than a time or two, and they saw the writing on the walls with the Browns. Obviously, we know the Brown family became the poster child for a polygamist train wreck. They're trying to promote polygamy in a positive light, in a functional light, and in the end, we understood that the Browns are just like everyone else. They're even more of a train wreck, and that Cody is just as destructive and toxic as some of the other people we see in these communities. Now, Tamron wonders if the Brown family is the norm for plural families, or if the abusive, convicted men like Warren Jeffs in the community are the norm. And the Browns say they are the norm. Their family are the norm. But families don't speak up. They stay in the shadows because it's scary and vulnerable to go public and to be open when you are always taught to be afraid of the whole monogamous world. Mary points out the cost of being open, and she points out why families stay in the shadows. Mary says when they went public, she lost her job. Cody lost a lot of accounts. So Mary says plural families can't go public because then they might lose their ability to support themselves. Tamron asks the Browns if it upsets them that more plural families don't come forward. And Christine says she's sad for them. And Cody says it's not fair for him to put that on them. He says those families have to make the choice, but he felt alienated when he came forward, like nobody in the community had his back. Next, Tamron sits with the older Brown kids. And Tamron asks Leo why it was so hard for them to have to wait to get into their home. And Leo says it was so hard because everyone else got their home and they had to wait, not knowing when they would be able to get in their home. And that was hard. And Logan backs Leo up and he says it gets hard to see everyone happy in their homes, but Leo and Mary weren't in their home yet. Now, Tamron mentions how sad Hunter was when he moved to Vegas, but now he's happy, he's functioning, he's well adjusted to Vegas. And Hunter says the homes are what helped him adjust because he felt more at home once they moved into the cul-de-sac. Aspen really appreciates the family being together again before they're going to have to move away to college. And Logan got to really spread his wings at UNLV. He's in college now at this point, and he's out on his own where everything is only dependent on him deciding to do things. He's distanced from the family, and he wants to be independent. He wants to meet new people. He wants to mature. He wants to finish school. Logan isn't dating at all right now. The older kids at this point, they're all single for now. They talk about dating a little bit, and Maddie points out that their dad is very chill if he decides he likes the prospective date, he likes their character. But if not, he will definitely let you know. Then he's not so chill. Now, McKelty says her mom loses sleep over her because she is her most curious child. McKelty says she wants to experience everything. She wants to be the wild child, but she says she isn't the wild child. And her siblings say McKelty just likes attention. Next, Tamron talks to the Brown kids about Cody mentioning that he didn't fully consider the impact of going public, the impact going public would have on them. So she wants the kids' 2 cents on that. Logan responds that there have been moments like the move and the investigation that really weighed on them deeply, that made them question why they were doing this. But the family is in a better place now. And Leo feels there is no way they would be the people they are now if their family hadn't made the choice to go public. She says they would be living in secret, and Maddie points out that now she can publicly claim all of her siblings openly, and she couldn't do that before. Logan adds that it's cool to walk down the street and be able to openly claim their family and their background. And Logan feels confident that he'll be accepted, and he feels secure in his family and being open. Tamron asks which of the older kids plans on pursuing polygamy. Leo plans on it at this point. Aspen is still looking into it at this point. She hasn't decided yet, but she's searching for an answer. And of course, we know so far none of the Brown kids have chose to participate in plural marriage. McKelty says she wants to fall in love first. When she falls in love with someone, if they want a plural family, they'll consider it. But if they want monogamy, she is great with that too. Her main concern is falling in love. Maddie is sure she wants to be a monogamist, no question. And Logan is almost as certain as Maddie that he wants to be a monogamist. Hunter has no thoughts on it yet. And of course, again, we know none of the Brown kids so far are pursuing polygamy, and we all can see why. Next up, Tamron is back with the Brown adults. And Tamron asks if they might take on a 5th wife. They flash back to Cody discussing it, and he's concerned in this flashback scene that when he tries to sell my sister wife's closet jewelry to a woman, she might misconstrue his friendliness for flirting and that he is looking for another wife. I would tell Cody not to flatter himself. Not at all. Cody makes it clear he isn't hunting a 5th wife. Tamron wants to know if it bothers the wives if there is a woman that Cody is being nice to who is misconstruing his friendliness. And Christine knows Cody isn't hitting on anyone. Christine says when women come up, when they jokingly ask to be the 5th wife, she really doesn't think they get it. Cody sees it as just a joke, of course, but of course his ego loves it. His wives, though, find it a little offensive. Cody admits that it disrespects all the work they have done in their relationship and in the family they have built, and it disrespects the family they have built when women do that. And Robin adds that because Cody has more than one wife, sometimes people think it's an open relationship, like they're swingers and like it's like that, and it's not. And Cody clarifies they aren't swingers, it isn't an open marriage. Christine adds that that attitude cheapens them and it cheapens their hard work. Christine says they fell in love, they put effort into those relationships, they put effort into their family, and all of that joking just cheapens it. Robin adds that this is eternal for them. So when women joke about being a 5th wife, they have no idea. Cody jokes that they have no idea how high maintenance he is. I think they have an idea. All the primping, all the time on the shitty looking hair, all the flexing in the mirror, and I have great 6-pack and great abs. Oh, I'm a piece of me. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants Cody. Not even Cody wants Cody. But Cody's right about one thing. He is high maintenance. Next, Tamron tells Cody it seems like he is struggling with 4 wives. So she wonders if he is open to a 5th since he can't handle the 4. And Cody says the word struggle is a little dramatic. I don't think so. He thinks they are a functional family. Now, of course, that didn't age well, and they aren't a functional family. And I don't believe they were a functional family back then. Now, Tanya wants a straight answer, so Cody clarifies again, no. He isn't interested in a 5th wife. They don't look for wives. He wasn't looking for a wife when he met Robin. And Cody adds, when he first met Robin, he wasn't interested, and that it was a group decision in the family to take on a wife. Cody doesn't want a fifth wife. He makes that clear. Next, Tamron talks about marriage therapy and how that went. Christine didn't want to go. Christine says she prefers rose-colored glasses over reality. So they flash back to the sculpture exercise where the women position themselves in relation to how close they feel to Cody during marriage therapy with Nancy. And Christine says it was the worst part of the trip for her because it was so honest and vulnerable, and Christine didn't know where she belonged. It was tough for Mary. She felt like she needed to be really careful. She wanted to be honest, but she also didn't want to be too vulnerable. She didn't want to be too vulnerable to the family. She didn't want to be too vulnerable for the cameras. Mary adds that they're seeing the real Mary, but there is much more there that we don't see. Tamron wonders if Cody passed, if the four wives would stay the unit they are today, if they would stay in the homes and continue to be sister wives. Mary thinks so. Janelle thinks so. And we learn that the wives and Cody are planning a recommitment ceremony, a party, an inauguration of the family mission statement. Janelle wants it to be memorable, dresses and all, and it's going to be very formal, and the Browns are very excited for this later on in season 6, when we see Cody having a meltdown, trying to take a family photo to commemorate the joyous occasion. That does it for this episode. I'll be back for Sister Wives Season 19, Episode 1, September 15th. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in 2 short weeks for the shit show. Bye.